Well, look who's here. Hi, Barb.
Hi, sweetie. I've been sicky.
I'm so sorry. Are you feeling better?
No, not yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, hopefully we do something exciting today and make it worth your time. How about
I hope so. I hope.
that? I agree. How's it going?
Good. How are you, Kim?
Good. It's just manic Monday. You know, it's literally nonstop and until this is over. So I go from 8:30 until 3. And generally somewhere in there I'm doing like a little dance to go to the bathroom or, you know, waving to somebody to please bring me a bottle of water or it's crazy. It is crazy. And then I get finished at 3 and it's, you know, 100 text messages and emails and all that I haven't had a chance to look at. So it's all good though. Mondays are fun. They go by really super fast. So good, good. All right, let's see. How are we doing? Oh, it's right at 2. All right, here we come. Melanie's outside taking advantage of the sunshine. I mean, I have to. I go nuts after a while if I just stay inside all the time. I lose it. Kathy, you're going to be super excited. So we have answers to most of your questions from last week. We're going to bring that out today. So I'm super excited about it.
Awesome.
So we'll see. We have 6 people on here. Y'all are going to see me like burn that building down if we don't get more people on this call. Ah, perfect. Look at Megan like saving the day. What we should say is like all the important people are here. So while we're waiting, I don't know if you all saw the video that I put on the Facebook page, but one of the things that I'm doing is Myra has a YouTube channel and it's called Down Home Money. And so just go to her YouTube channel, like it, follow it, and whoever likes it and follows it from our group is gonna go in a drawing, and I am gonna pick a winner, and that winner is gonna get. I am personally gonna pay for $50 worth of Facebook leads for them, and I am going to sit down with you and build it with you and put the ad out with you. So. Because it doesn't do any good to win something if you don't know what to do with it. So no, I definitely want to put my money where my mouth is on this of getting everybody involved and going with these leads and get some things built up so that you have additional resources and a little additional income within the next year, hopefully less. So we'll see. We'll see how we do. Let's see. All right, we've got 2 minutes. I know that our regional call went over, so we'll wait and see if Myra, I know she's just like me, so she's probably, you know, trying to take a quick break before she hops on this next one. So before we get rolling, who has some questions from last week? I know Kathy had emailed me a few. We're going to get those answered today. What were some thoughts that you had from last week's session? Because we talked about a lot of things. Come on now. Can't carry it. It's heavy. Anything. Did anybody get anything at all out of last week? What we got? What we got? Come on, one thing. You can do it.
Was last week when we talked about Rich Dad, Poor Dad and
Yes.
Oh, I keep thinking, well, I want to read the book, but I keep thinking about what you're saying from the book that, you know, there's people that have a job and then people who have money work for them. Which seems like what this is going to be about today.
Yes, very good, Bree. Thank you, Lord. Woo! Somebody listened and remembered. I'm so excited. Thank you. I think that a lot of us have found ourselves in a spot right now, especially with such a sudden change, right? And I think all of us have really good intentions of what I'm going to do one day. right? Like one day when I have enough money, I'm going to buy a rental property. Or one day when I have enough money, I'm going to invest in X. Or one day when I have enough money, I'm going to build a team. Or when I have enough time, I'm going to build a team. And I think that it's having a different perspective to realize that, you know, you can buy an investment property, a rental property. You don't have to have the money. You can find the money, right? So it's just kind of thinking outside the box a little bit and not waiting until one day, because what happens is you wake up one day and the rug just gets jerked out from under you and one day's here. So I think we all have this perception in our heads that we have all kinds of time and that we're going to be able to prepare and we're going to get ourselves set for one day, and what happens is you wake up and there's a whole different reality. So there's Miss Myra. How are you doing?
Hey, how are you?
I am good. I was just telling them we were on a regional call that went over. I ducked out a little early. It's like I might get a little hash mark or a check on my name. We'll see. Well, thank you so much for being on here today. I really appreciate it. So what we talked about last week, Myra, was I'm not sure how long you heard that conversation. So if you've heard it all, just tell me to hush. But we were talking about Rich Dad Poor Dad, and my son is in college, and I'm having him read this book, and they have to read something all the time, and at least once a year, I make them read a deep book that has something to do with their financial well-being when they get older. So like Morgan is reading Beginners. Well, she's already read it, but Beginner's Pluck, the lady that launched a little sandal company. Anyway, but it all came from that. And I can't really get my 20-year-old to read too much unless it has to do with baseball or making money. And he has just been enamored by this book. We talk about it at dinner. He has one of his friends now on the ball. He called me today and said, "Oh, my friend wants to borrow my book when I'm done with it." I said, "Honey, I'll buy him one and send it to him. He doesn't need to wait to read it. He needs to go ahead and read it now." So we talked a lot about that last week, and about how what we need to do to start learning how to make our money work for us and start to create additional income streams. I was really anxious to see who came on here today because the way that the flyer was put out, passive income was the wording that was on there. And I think so many people associate passive income with profit share. And so I think that people thought, oh, this is going to be a profit share thing and she's going to want us to give her referrals. And they had no idea that what I was doing was bringing them like a wealth of knowledge to invest and put themselves on a whole nother level financially. So I'm screenshotting the people who are in here. And I don't even care who else goes on there. And so we did a contest to like your page and subscribe, and I'm giving them $50 in Facebook ads, and I'm doing a one-on-one with them to build the ad and all that. So I don't care if people outside this group do that. I'm not even putting them in the contest. Only the people who showed up today. So shut up, Myra. I would love for you to tell them a little bit about what you are and what you do, your powerhouse, and all that good stuff.
Well, it is great to be here, and thank you so much for the opportunity, Kim. I've been with Keller Williams 9 years. I've done every job in Keller Williams. I started as a team leader and moved my way all the way through to regional director, and then now I'm an OP of 3 offices. But what I really want to share with you is more about what I did before real estate. I was a hairstylist, and my husband was a policeman, and we built passive incomes because neither one of us really wanted to work all the rest of our lives. And we started in our 20s. So back to your son and your kids and anyone else on the call that has children, it's so important that we instill with them about money, because we don't learn money in school. And it's sad that we don't, because money is a big part of all of our lives. It doesn't matter if you're a minimalist or if you're a capitalist. Money is important. We all need money to survive. So as a policeman and a hairstylist, I knew that I did not want to stand behind a chair the rest of my life. So I immediately started buying rental property. I bought my first house at 22, didn't know what I was doing. But I knew this. I knew that I needed something to throw me off an income that I didn't have to show up every day and stand behind a chair 12 to 14 hours a day cutting hair. And then my husband was in narcotics. He worked with the narcotics division in Dallas as a policeman. And I knew I wanted him out of that for safety reasons. So that's what got us started on this journey. And our goal was within 10 years to be able to quit our jobs. And we did it. You know, there's only 2 ways that you can change the trajectory of your life. And those 2 ways are you can make more money, or you can get hyper focused and really get on a budget and save your money and start really honing down on your expenses. And so I did both. We started really cutting on our expenses, and I started working harder. My husband started working side hustles. They weren't called that 20 years ago, but they're called that now. And we took that money and we invested it. And so by the time I was 33 years old, I sold my hair salon. My husband retired from the police department, and we had 10 properties. 8 of the 10 were paid for. We had paid them off as we went. And our net income was $5,000 a month, and we could live off that. We were good with that. We wanted to have freedom of time, because it's not always about money for people, and a lot of times it's about time and having the freedom to get up when you want, go to work when you want. And so that's what passive income does. Passive income allows you to live in your passion, and maybe your passion is volunteering. For me, I volunteer at the animal shelter. I'm a big animal person. And so there's not a lot of money in that. So I needed to build me another passive income so that I could go do what I wanted to do. And then I worked for free cutting hair for children's home. I would go and cut their hair every month. That was my way of giving back. So it allowed me to do the things that I really wanted to do, because I'm more about making a difference now. Because, you know, the funny thing is that when I went to John, I love John Maxwell. If y'all don't know John Maxwell, please go to his podcast. It's phenomenal. But when I went to John Maxwell in 2016, I really realized that he said something that just hit me really hard. And it was, success is amazing and it's great, but significance is where it's at. And I've had a lot of success in my life. I got back on the roller coaster because we took off for 3 years. We traveled, we had a ball, and I got bored. So I share that with you because that's what happened to me. Then I got my real estate license and got back on that crazy treadmill, because you know how we all are. And the thing about real estate that I found, and why I got off the treadmill 2 years ago, I resigned from the region and got off the treadmill, is because your time is finite. And it's so important that you understand that, because money's infinite and time is finite. We've only got so much time in the day. And I got to tell you, some people, man, they can work that 24 hours. Have you ever known somebody that their 24 hours, it's amazing what they can get done compared to somebody else? But the thing is, you guys, you're not going to be this age. Today, you will never be here again. Okay? And tomorrow, you've just added another day to your life. And it's so important that you live in your passion and that you have joy. So that's where I'm at today. I'm funny about when I buy things. And I share that with you because I got a lot of friends that sell real estate, and we kind of get on this keeping up with the Joneses thing, you know. That's just who we are. And because we all talk, you know, fancy cars, fancy houses. We just keep getting more and more and more. But I want to challenge you today to look at what you have and write down what's really giving you joy. And that's why I started Down Home Money, because we're a community. I have a book coming out in September. And the reason I started it is because when I sit down, I wrote down the things that gave me joy. Honestly, none of them cost money. And I challenge you to do the same thing. Because what you're going to find, the things that give you joy don't cost money, but they are the things that you have that you're not doing as often. You're so caught up in selling real estate and making money, but are you working smart? And that's where passive income. And with us selling real estate, why would we not go get some real estate and let it throw you off of passive income? I mean, honestly, the smartest investments I've made have been in real estate. I have a YouTube channel, and I did one of my last video was about a duplex and how that duplex, how much money I'm making on that duplex that I bought. And I share with the people, if you're in your 20s and let's say you're single, your first property should probably be a duplex. Move in one side. Let somebody else pay for it for you and you can live there for free and save your money. I think there's so many ways to do it. So I'm just here to help you and give you ideas. You know, I'm an ordinary person that has made extraordinary strides in being frugal. Because I started out not making a lot of money, never made a six-figure income as a hairstylist and a policeman. So I want to share that with you because a lot of people think you got to make a lot of money. No, I've got friends that make $50,000 a year and they have a lot more money than some of my friends that make $300,000 a year. Because it's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep and what you do with it. I have friends making $1 million a year, but the problem is they're spending $1 million too. So guess what? That's a deficit of $200,000. So that's why I love that Kim cares enough about you guys to, she reached out to me and I'm here to answer any questions and just share with you that life gets really big when you get your finances under control. And it's, again, it's not about how much money you make, it's how much money you keep and what you do with it. I have 9 passive income streams. And I'll share another thing with you that I think is a great tip if you haven't done this yet, especially as a real estate agent. Start your SET plan. Do we have very many people on the call that are in their 20s, 30s? Oh, I saw a hand. Oh, yeah, okay, good, great. Okay, big tip for you guys. Write this one down. This can change your life. And I want you to remember in 20 years, you better call me because I'm going to be thriving still. You call me because I want to hear about it because I will tell you 21 years ago, a gentleman that sat down in my chair at my hair salon, had his gold Rolex on, it blind me while I was trying to cut his hair, have these fancy suits on. He sat down in my chair and he said, Myra, what are you, and I'm in my 20s, right? I'm in my early 20s. He goes, what are you going to do about retirement? And I started laughing. I was like, I'm in my 20s. I'm not worried about retirement. And I didn't listen to him until a few years later. I cut his hair for probably 12 years until I retired. And I opened in 1998, I opened a Vanguard, which Vanguard is it's the cheapest in fees. Trust me, I'm frugal as all get out. You want to know the cheapest of everything, you call me. It is the least expensive in fees. I opened a Vanguard account, and Kim, you need to do this for your kids. I mean, you need to do it immediately. If they, because they're in college, if they're not working or whatever, you need to fund it. I opened a Vanguard account.
We opened them when they were born.
I love it. Yes. So I opened a Vanguard account, and you guys that are self-employed, you get to put a big old hunk of money in it. Okay. And it's a straight write-off for you. So I opened Vanguard every single month. I started out, it was $100 a month. That's all I could afford. I'm doing $5 haircuts, okay, back then, and $25 perms. Everybody wanted to look like Julia Roberts. Lord have mercy, that was back in those days. If y'all don't know who Julia Roberts is, go rent the movie. It was crazy. So I just did the best I could do. And then when I got in real estate, I started maxing out my set plan. But what I'm sharing with you is if you will do this, you will become a millionaire, even if you have horrible spending habits. If you will stay consistent with that one behavior, depositing money, you need to buy index funds. And I'm going to tell you the one you need to buy that has been incredible for my portfolio. And the symbol is VTSAX. It is a total stock market index fund. Another great one is VTI. And that's a traded fund, so you can trade on the stock market with it every day. The other one is a mutual fund. So I share that with you because what's really funny, I never touched it. I never even looked at it because I was building a rental portfolio. Today I've got about 35 properties. I was building a rental portfolio. That was going to be my retirement, not my set plan. I wasn't going to wait and let that happen. But meanwhile, I consistently made the contributions. And because of compounding, I cannot stress this enough. Compounding is your interest, earning off your interest month after month. This compounding caused me in 20 years, within 20 years, I had over $1 million in that account. And I'm not trying to impress you. I'm trying to impress upon you. I was a hairstylist doing $5 haircuts. You guys, the people you think are rich are not. It's the blue collar people who are millionaires. I'm telling you, if you will read the book, The Next Millionaire Next Door. I read the book, The Millionaire Next Door, and it made a difference in my life, but it's a little outdated now because it was made in like 96, I think. Go get that book, The Next Millionaire Next Door. Game changer. Love that book. Another great book, Stop Acting Rich. And we all know, I can think of friends I have right now that always have money problems, but they drive the nicest Lexus that they make, and they live in the most expensive house in their neighborhood, but they're living paycheck to paycheck. Do you realize that 70% of the population lives paycheck to paycheck? It's scary. And if we don't take control of our own finances and being self-employed, we're going to be in trouble. And there's nothing worse when I see people that are working in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. And we have a lot of real estate agents working in their 70s and 80s, and not because they want to. And so I just share that with you because I think it's so important that we get control of our money. So anyway, and I'll give you one more great book. Game Changer. Your Money or Your Life by Vicki Robin. So let me tell you about this book. This book will get you to see your money differently. And I will tell you, you will start paying attention before you go buy fancy clothes, fancy anything. You're going to be like, woo, do I really want to buy that? Because I want to save my money for later on. So this book is tremendous. I read this in 1992. It was first started my trajectory of looking at my money differently. And then I read The Millionaire Next Door, and I realized, okay, I'm going to be one of these blue-collar millionaires. You just wait. And I reached my goal at 33 years old. So I'm here to help. My goal is to help as many people. And I've got nieces and nephews. So Kim, I don't have kids, but I have 6 nieces and nephews. And I am teaching them about money because no one else has taught them about money. And, no one taught a lot of us. We grew up not understanding money. And so it's our duty to do that. So anyway, so tell me, ask me a question.
No, I think that's so huge because financial literacy, I think, is just a problem, and we've been talking so much lately about discussing things and topics and issues that are currently going on that make people uncomfortable. And I think that's how things get out of hand, is when you don't discuss the things that make you uncomfortable. Yeah. So I think that it's time, regardless of the issue, and especially with what we're talking about today, with it being money, that we just start talking about it. For whatever reason, people are embarrassed or they think they're supposed to have more. I don't know what it is. I grew up with nothing, so I don't really have any embarrassment around it. I was just hell-bent my kids weren't going to grow up with nothing. So I think that it's almost a better lesson for me personally. I'm hard-headed. So I think it was a better lesson to learn that way. So I know that some of the questions, some of the things that people were asking me last week were things like, when they want to buy an investment property, what would that look like, Myra, for somebody that says, hey, I would love to buy a rental property. I don't have any money, right? Maybe they have good credit. They're willing to put the work in. They have their license. They can find the deal. What would be an option for somebody like that?
So that's a great question. I've got a girl in Northern Kentucky that I've been helping, and we have found her an investor who has money but doesn't have time. And she's got the experience. She knows the market. She can put it back on the market, and they're doing flips together so that she can build money, and they're splitting the money 50-50. I'd take that deal all day long because I don't have the time either, and I don't want to spend my time doing that stuff anymore. So I would love that. Where there is a will, there is a way. And what I found is that the people that are willing to get out of their own way and are willing to ask questions, because money is complicated because we make it complicated. And it's easier to say, oh, I can't do it, than to figure out how you can do it. But with her, what she's done is she found her an investor, and it was one of her clients. I know that Linda McKissick talks about that. If you remember, her and Jimmy had no money. They were broke. And I think Jimmy said he was like in his early 40s, but they had a client that was a builder in Denton. And that builder, he went to that builder and said, hey, if we find the properties, we do all the work, we get them rehabbed, we work with the subs, will you pay us 50% of the profits? And the builder was like, yeah. I mean, that is true passive income for that builder, right? And so the property stays in the builder's name because his money's on the line. So you got to know how to do it. It has to be in his name, but you have to have a separate agreement written out on the profits. And then, you know, they get to list the property and make a full commission on top of the 50% in profits. So, I mean, there are a lot of ways to do it. My brother is a perfect example of this. He, so been with this company for 20 years, and this is happening to y'all a lot. And his company filed bankruptcy. And we're going to see a lot more in the next few months because companies have not been able to sustain. So Milt came to me. It's just kind of funny because here I'm his little sister, right? He's never asked me about real estate. He's a company man, got a big retirement. You're crazy. You work way too hard. I'm going to just go to work, come home every day, and I'm going to, when I retire, I got this big fat retirement. Well, guess what got changed when they filed bankruptcy? His big fat retirement. So he came to me and I started helping him buy rental property. And we just finished, he's bought 4 houses in the last year. And I'm going to tell you what's really interesting is that he's bought cheaper houses. I mean, because he's in Kentucky, he's in rural Kentucky. But I just had one of my friends buy a house in Columbus, right outside Columbus, and I can get you the name of the town, for 50-something thousand. So they're there in every community. You know, you just got to go outside to find them. But he's bought 4 houses, and his net income now for just those 4 houses, he put less than $10,000 in because he bought houses for 35, 45,000, but they appraised higher, and he went to a local bank and they used the debt to value ratio. So he hardly had to put any money down, and because of the value of the property and his debt. So he's now making about $1,500 clear a month, and he has less than $10,000 invested. So he's making gross $2,850, I think is what it was, but his net is $1,500 after he makes his payments, taxes, insurance, and then we figure about 15% towards maintenance. So that's exciting, and he's done it all in the last year. So it truly is where there's a will, there's a way. It's kind of like dividend investing. So does anybody play on the stock market at all? On my call? Anybody? Okay, so I don't play in the stock market. I buy in index funds and buy and hold. But this last year, I read 106 books because I am a student deluxe. I've got a high school education from Kentucky, and it's worked out really well for me. But I share that with you because I'm a student, because I have to be. And I'm one of these people, I sometimes have to read things several times to grasp hold of what it's saying to do. So I became a really big student about dividend investing because I wanted to learn how I could take my money, buy stocks that pay dividends. Not only will it be a growth stock and I buy and hold, but they would also send me either monthly or quarterly or yearly dividend income. So a perfect example is I bought AT&T. And I started with about a $5,000 investment. And so last month, they sent me a dividend for $104. Now that comes on top of, I still own the stock. So when you do dividend investing, they're sending you profits from the company. Kind of like what Keller Williams does, right? We do profit share, and it doesn't cost you, our agents, any money. It's the owners sharing their profit. The same thing with this. And so I've got my portfolio up to starting this month and forward, I will be making about $36,000 a year on dividend investing stocks because I figured out the ones remember, don't just do this without studying. I've been learning this for the last probably 2 years and didn't even take action till this last year. So that's just another way to make money.
Okay, will you say that again? The last how many years?
For the last 2 years, I've been studying it.
Studied for the last 2 years, and then you started taking action about a year ago.
Yep.
And today you're making.
Taking action. I played with it.
Okay.
I started taking action when the market dropped because I was like, this is my time.
Sure. And now you're making how much a year?
36,000. So I have a tracker. I have a dividend tracker. It's a free tracker. It's a website, and I've put all my dividends in, and it gives you when they pay and the percentages. And so, and it can change, okay, because it's based on profits. And right now with the companies, although I've bought in at the right price, I'm going to have a good growth. Matter of fact, I bought American Airlines at like $9, and today it's at 19 something. So, and I've only owned it a month. So you know, and it's not a big high dividend, but I look at high dividend companies. So I'm really watching and studying dividends because that's just another passive income. It's actually going to be my 10th passive income. So I just like, I love learning. And so, but I have to put to action before I can teach it. So that'll be my next book. So my first book's going to be about real estate and saving money and understanding the concepts of money and how money gives you options to live your life to the fullest. And then my next book will be dividends and how other passive incomes. You know, I mean, there's lots of side hustles. Y'all would not believe the money being made on YouTube.
Oh, it's
Holy
insane.
cow.
It's insane.
I mean, and the money being made on being an affiliate with Amazon. There's so much, we all get so pigeonholed into one thing, and we think that's the one thing we can do to reach our goals or whatever. You need to get outside the box because there are so many, and I'm really learning base. So I love all that. I mean, I am thriving when I'm learning something new. And so that's just kind of where I'm at right now. I'm having a great time. Writing a book's the hardest thing I've ever done, and there's hardly any money in writing a book. It was more of something I've wanted to do my whole life, and I just wanted to tell my story and give hope to people that you don't have to wait for a trust fund. You don't have to inherit it. You can go make it happen just by taking simple steps. And I really walk people through how they can become a millionaire if that's one of their goals.
I mean, that's where all of this came from. Is I was, you know, trolling on Facebook one night, and I had seen where you had posted one of the videos where you had interviewed someone with down home money. And so I ended up going to the YouTube channel, and it was a rabbit hole. Like, you could just watch video after video after video, you know, and you're like taking notes, and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to be rich. But it's so true. The common denominator in all of those interviews, Myra, is they are all normal people just like us. You know, it's not like they're trust fund babies that are just reinvesting all of their wealth. You know, they've all just been very entrepreneurial about finding different ways and different methods of making money. And that's where this whole
tomorrow's interview. I'm interviewing her in the morning, and she's a Hispanic lady here in my town who has built this portfolio that's incredible. And she didn't want to do the interview. She's like, oh, but my English. I'm like, girl, if they can put up with my hillbilly English, they will love you. And so I got her to do it. So she's coming to my house tomorrow because I'm in my studio. This is my studio. So she's coming tomorrow. So it will be phenomenal because just her story and how she got started, you will love it. But you're right. It's about ordinary people, and they've just taken action for their lives. They're not waiting for it to happen. They've just decided that I'm going to make it happen. You know, one of the videos, Kim, a guy named Chris Watts, and he was raised in poverty. They were homeless. And I don't know if you saw that one, but it says poverty to millionaire or poverty to financial independence. That is one of the best stories ever. He is the mayor of Denton, and I was his real estate agent. And so I knew his story, and he never told his story, you know, because you know, he was kind of ashamed. He was homeless. And I was like, Chris, do you know how many people you can change their lives and affect by telling that story? And so he came to to our studio, and him and my husband are real good friends. And I just got him to tell his story. And now I think he's going to write a book. I've hooked him up with my publisher because his story is it's profound. I mean, it just proves he put himself through law school after he got into his late 30s. I mean, it's just a great story. So y'all go to YouTube and please subscribe, because how I get my information out is through people subscribing. Like you can go watch it without subscribing, but it doesn't help me for the algorithm of YouTube to get my videos out there. And you have to get to 1,000 subscribers to even monetize it. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about getting my message out because I just think it resonates. I think we see these movie stars, and I mean, we're keeping up with the Kardashians now, not the Joneses. And, you know, I mean, we see all that, right? And when you see all that all the time and you're being fed that, you feel like you've got to have the expensive shoes, even if you can't afford them. You got to have the expensive car, and you know, you feel like you can't live within your means because you're so busy keeping up with the Kardashians. And life gets really big when you realize that that does not give you joy. I mean, I'm really serious when I say this. I've got a good friend that has really gone to minimalism. It's gone from being multimillionaire to minimalism because of the lack of happiness with all the money that they made. Because money did not buy them happiness. You know, actually, there's a survey out that has proven that the threshold of happiness, where you have the most happiness and where you lose happiness, it's at $75,000 a year, you guys. It's not at six figures. The survey and the study found that when people get to 75,000, they're at their threshold of happiness, and a lot of times it moves down after that. Because what happens is consumerism. Consumerism happens, and what happens is they start spending more than they're making, keeping up with everybody and keeping up with everything. Listen, girl, I got a 5-year-old car. I just don't care. I mean, I bet I got this at DJ Maxx, and I probably bought it about 10 years ago. I mean, it's just, I just don't care, right? I don't wear my money. I don't drive my money. I don't live in my money. My money is making me money so I can make a difference with the people I love and care about, who I really care what they think. It's not the people you don't know. Buying all that stuff to impress people that you don't like and you don't know. You really don't care if they like you. And that's what we find. I mean, everything I've studied about happiness and joy, you know, happiness is external. It's when things happen to you, you have happiness, and it can go away like that. Joy is deep rooted in you. And you got to figure out what gives you joy, what makes you feel good about what you're doing and how you're doing it. Because life is short.
It is. It is short. And you also have to think about what happens if it ends up being longer. You know, right. I mean, I'm pushing 50. And so I'm thinking it's not too late for me to start doing certain things. You know, I mean, I still want to live comfortably when I'm in my 80s. I want to leave something for my children, you know, so it's never too late to do those types of things.
It's never.
So what questions? Thank you, Melanie. She already liked and subscribed to the YouTube channel. Very good.
Did she put me over?
Yeah. So what questions do you all have for her? I mean, she's super transparent, I promise. She doesn't bite. Her dogs might, but she doesn't bite.
Yeah, a chihuahua might, but I don't.
No questions.
Oh, come on, you guys.
Nothing.
I'm here to help you. Ask me a question, any question.
If you were going to buy any, like if you're just thinking, if we were on your website and we're looking at a dividend tracker and somebody had to buy with some company today, what would it be?
Well, hang on. Let me look at my stocks. I've been on a call. Hang on. I'll tell you what's a good buy right now. How's
there you
that?
Go.
I'd love to. Hang on one second because I got them all right here. First and foremost, if you're buying for long term, go buy index funds and buy VTSAX. It doesn't matter when you go into the market, you're going to be fine with it. And honestly, I started with VFINX and it's now VFIAX. It's an index fund. I was paying $60 a share. You guys, at its peak, it hit $300 a share. So that's 20 years time. So I'm sharing that because over time, you can get in the market. Right now is better than ever. Just get in the market. So VTSAX is a Vanguard total stock market index fund. And that's what I would start in. And that's what I would use to do my monthly contributions. Your Vanguard account, you can just set it up and then you need to allocate it for a set plan. It's real easy. I walk people through setting it up, and I need to do a video on that and just walk people through setting it up. That'd be a good video. But you just go in there, you set it up, and then you set it up with your bank account, and it'll be automatic. I do my investments on the 1st and on the 15th, so then I'm hitting the market 2 days of the month that are separate days. It doesn't really matter, just do it. And let me give you a little tip. So if you put $250 a month in the stock I just told you, okay? VTSAX, so an index fund, $250 a month. Let's say you're 25 years old, okay? And you do that. By the time you're 65, you'll have 8, if it compounds. So, okay, so the stock market over the last 50 years have brought in about 10% return. So some years it could be down 5%, some years it could be up 15%, okay? But over the average is about 10%. 8% is about what we calculate, because 8%, you take 2% off for inflation. So at 8% return, if you do $250 a month, at 25 years old, you would have, because of compounding, you have $878 and $878,570, and you didn't put any more than $250 a month. Now, you guys make a lot of money selling real estate, 'cause you're going to be able to put a whole lot more, and it's going to grow a whole lot faster. But if you just decide today, I'm going to do this. If you're 35 years old, I want to show you the difference in compounding and why it's so important you get your grandchildren or your children, your nieces and nephews to do this. And this is why I'm on a mission, because we could change our country's trajectory in retirement. I mean, seriously, Medicare is not going to be there. I'm just telling you, we run out in year 2033. So unless something changes, that's why this is so important, you guys. So if you're 35 years old, that number will drop down to $375,073. So if you had started 10 years before, you'd have $500,000 more. If you're 45 and do $250 a month, you drop down to $148,236. So this is the power of compounding and why you want to start that when you're young. I'm not saying you can't do it, people, because we can do this. You just have to put more or buy retirement properties. So I got a duplex. If you watch one of my videos, I've got the sheet right here because I just did it. So this is a duplex I bought, and I know what y'all gonna say. I can't find a duplex for $92,000. Well, your rent's a lot higher than my rent too, okay? Find you a duplex, work to get it paid off. Because I will tell you, this throws me off. Look at this. This is what I net every year, $18,000. So I net $1,500 a month. These are my expenses. I don't have a debt, so I've paid it off. Because like I told you, I'm totally debt-free. I've paid all my properties. I can't stand debt. So I went back to work to keep paying off. I just paid debt off. I don't like debt. I'm not telling you that's the smartest way. I have friends that are leveraged to the hilt and still earn profits. You got to do you. You figure out what works for you. I couldn't sleep at night. So I'd buy a property and I'd work really hard to pay it off. That's why I kept working selling real estate. And I was making $300,000 a year selling real estate, and I was paying properties off. Because honestly, I wanted to have these as my retirement. I never dreamed that I'd have a rental portfolio, a stock portfolio that can throw me off $40,000 a year. And that doesn't count the one I'm building with dividends. That, hang on, I think I got a sheet on that. I want to show you. So if you, okay, if your freedom number, and I just did a low number because I want to show you how this works. If you're in a stock portfolio and you're making 8%, right? Let's say the yearly is 8%. So you could pull 4% from your stock portfolio over the next 25 years, and you'd still have your initial investment. You'd still have 4%. If you want to pull 24, it would take $600,000 in a stock portfolio to make $2,000 a month to be able to pull the 4%. 4% is what we call the 4% rule. And what that is we tell people, whatever your number is, like if your number is $40,000 a year, I would tell you we're going to build you a stock portfolio of $1 million. And $1 million, 40,000 times 25 is going to be about $1 million. And you'd be able to pull $40,000 a year and live off that and not worry about your money. Your money still, you would still have money in your portfolio. You wouldn't be run out of money. And so that's what we're teaching. And if the 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds, especially, if they get this started, they will have these portfolios and won't have to worry about Social Security and Medicare taking care of you. You will have your own, you've built in your own retirement plan. And it takes time. So that's a slower process, whereas rental property has been a faster process for me to build my passive income. So just so you kind of see. It brings in $1,745 a month. That's $20,000 a year. And after my expenses of taxes, now in Texas, we don't have state income tax, so our real estate taxes are really high. So they're $2,800, $905 for insurance. So repairs are $807, gross rent $2,940 minus expenses. So my net is $18. So I love duplexes. I love fourplexes. You can really make some money on them. And if you're young and you haven't bought your first property, move in it. You can do an FHA loan, 3.5% down, and move in it and let all your tenants pay for it for you. I mean, it is beautiful. It is the way to move to financial freedom. And that's what I teach on Down Home Money. You can go to my website also at Down Home Money, A Simple Approach to Financial Freedom, but that's what I teach. And my book will be out in September. We just finished it, so now it's in publishing. So I'm excited. I want to help you guys. So you ask me any question, seriously.
I want to know, so out of that 18,000 net that you get from that duplex, do you have something specific that you do with that to get that money to make money?
Yes. So what I've been doing all these years, is buying property. So when at first I bought, I was buying one a year. So it took us 10 years and we paid them off as we were going. When the rents were coming in, we start with one, start throwing all that money towards the principal. And then we get that one paid off. So then that money's coming in, right? And we're still getting money on the others. We're taking the next one and we're paying it off. That's how we did it. We just did like a snowball debt payoff.
First, the one you had the lowest amount of mortgage on, you took that paid off first? Okay.
And then now, I mean, we've paid them all off. So we've been debt free for probably about 8 years. So 2 years ago, I bought a building in Northern Kentucky. I was just letting my money stockpile and I bought a building for my real estate office in Northern Kentucky. And I paid 500 and something thousand for it. And I just sold some apartments. I did a 1031 exchange and I'd paid them off. And I did a 1031 exchange. I redid this building and I got about $1.4 million in the building, but I make $16,000 a month net on it. So, and I love commercial. So that's a whole nother we could talk about. It's my first act on commercial, but because it's a triple net lease. So Keller Williams, which I own too, but Keller Williams pays the payment, they pay the rent, they pay the taxes, they pay the insurance, they pay any repairs. So that building alone makes me $192,000 a year net. So it's just, I mean, it's just evolved over the 30 years I've been doing rentals. I've just learned what to do, what not to do. And so that's the best investment I've made. I do Airbnb, but I will tell you after this little pandemic and your Airbnbs are all sitting there, I don't like when somebody can control my environment. And you know what? That whole pandemic just stopped Airbnb. My rentals were still paying. There's about a 20% no matter what, 15% no matter what, whether people pay their rent or not. As far as according to the National Association of Realtors, if you talk to leasing, anything about leasing. And now it's like because of people losing jobs, it's up to 20%. But I will tell you, I haven't had any problems. My tenants have all paid the rent. But the Airbnbs have all sit vacant.
Yeah.
Oh, I've put 2 of them on the market in the last couple of weeks. I'm going to get out of that because one of them, when I got my P&L, because I do a P&L on each property. And if any of you need P&Ls or anything, I am the most simple person on earth, okay? Every document, every form I do, I kept my real estate business simple. When everybody else was complicated, I was just simple, and just kept rolling. So if you need a document, a P&L, you can go to my website and they're all on there. There's rental P&Ls. And if you need one for your business, if you want one, I had a real simple one for my real estate business because I just keep things simple. But when I took them all to my CPA. He and I sit down, we do it once a year, and we were going over it. And he said, you're not making any money on these Airbnbs, because they were charging me 15% property management. And I don't pay property management on my long-term rentals. I might make less as far as monthly rent, but it all washes out. I'm really making more, less calls, less changing out sheets and cleaning and keeping up with people to take care of all that. So that's just not, I mean, it's not for everybody. Some people do brilliant in it. It's not for me. So I just find a niche and I go back to what works for me.
Mm-hmm.
I try.
What is your website, Myra?
Down Home Money.
Just
Same as the
downhomemoney.com.
YouTube channel.
And you all,
Yeah,
the simple P&L that she's talking about specifically for real estate, that is the one that I uploaded on our Facebook page. So if you go to our Facebook page, go to the file section, that is the P&L that I got from Myra. So that is hers. Downhomemoney.com.
Yeah, it's just really easy. My accountant told me I'm one of his favorite clients. He said, you got the most moving parts I've ever seen in my life. And he goes, with all your K1s and all the stuff you got coming in, he goes, but you're the most organized, because I hand him I'll take him a box of crap. At the end of the year, I take him a P&L for each rental property, and then I have the documentation backed up for my receipts or whatever. I don't go with all that, I just bring him my P&L. And he's like, it's just so simplified. He goes, some people complicate things, but you don't, and I don't. Because I can't keep up with it if complicate. It's just too hard.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to keep things simple so that you can move forward, because I don't know about y'all, but we all get paralyzed with fear no matter what. And then if you put complication on top of it, and we've had that a little bit with all of our new stuff with Keller Williams. A perfect example is what's going on with Keller Williams. With all the new stuff being thrown at us, fear sets in and they get paralyzed instead of taking action. And I just tell you, take one simple step to learn it as you go, and keep doing what you're doing that makes money. That's the most important thing for your family.
What else? What other questions do y'all have? We got just a few minutes.
You got some really pretty people on here.
I mean, right? They all got dutied up and. Oh, we can't hear you, Melanie.
Can you unmute her? Do sign language. I know sign language.
It says she's not muted, but I'm not hearing her.
Not hearing her.
Maybe try typing it in the chat. Yeah, we can see you, and it says you're not muted, but we can't hear you.
Tell her to type it. Yeah.
It's like technology.
I want to hear from you. I know that technology.
Does anybody else have anything?
Do you do any single family rentals?
I do. I sure do. They're my second favorite. I like duplexes first. I have probably 20 single family homes. I bought in a neighborhood here in Denton. So I buy when the market, we're getting ready to have an opportunity, okay? Because if our government if we don't get everything back going, and the jobs and a lot of the businesses do shut down, it's going to affect us in real estate. We're not seeing it in Columbus. You guys aren't seeing it. I'm seeing a little bit of it in Texas already. And y'all are the last when this stuff starts happening. That's the beautiful thing about Ohio. It's kind of y'all, it affects you all last. So I'm already seeing it in Texas. And so in 2009, there was in April of 2009 was when we hit the bottom of the market. We were having 500 foreclosures a month here in Denton. And I started buying these little houses in this neighborhood, and you're not gonna believe the story. But I was buying them for $60,000 to $80,000. They were 2- and 3-year-old homes. I still own them. I kept them. I make anywhere from $1,500 to $1,800 a month on each one. But they're selling now for $225,000 to $250,000. So I will just tell you that get ready, because that's when you buy. I mean, like right now, I can't buy them for $250,000 because $1,800, that doesn't cash flow for me. I have a 1% rule. So if I'm going to buy something, if I'm going to pay $200,000 for it, it must rent for $2,000 a month. So that's called the 1% rule. And that's a great rule to follow, because you've got to figure in your debt service. You've got to figure in taxes, insurance, and maintenance. And when you first start this, you need to get you a pool of people together that are good about taking care of maintenance for you, because maintenance can eat you alive. My husband has saved me a fortune in maintenance. He can fix or do anything. So if you can get you a key person that is great with maintenance, it will make your life so much easier. The more properties you get, the more maintenance issues you have. So, you know, and if they're older, I have a lot of older properties. I'm in a college town. So most of my duplexes are over by the university, and they're older duplexes, like the one I showed you. So that's, you know, because of that, they just have more maintenance. For us, you know, slab foundations in Texas, we have a lot of problems with foundation. And so we have maintenance issues. We'll have water leaks and things like that because of the slabs. So you just have to, the whole goal is it's got to be profitable, right? And then I have houses that, I mean, I got a girl, and I will tell you, I love housing. So I don't know if you know about housing in your area, but I do Denton affordable housing. I have 3 houses on housing. And let me tell you, it's my favorite. Of the 3 tenants, the one that's been there the least amount of time is 9 or 10 years. So I've never had to do make readies or anything. Housing comes in once a year and evaluates the property and makes them fix things and clean things up, or asks me to fix things. And it's been wonderful. And my rent is direct deposited into my bank account every month.
Oh,
No
that's nice.
collection rent.
Oh my
It's
God.
wonderful. And they give me raises every so often. So that's probably my favorite thing that I do. That's just a little hack, a little rental hack that I just shared with you. So, and you get to, they want to keep you, because a lot of people think housing's bad. Housing is fantastic. Matter of fact, I have some of the best tenants in my properties are in my housing properties.
Nice. Melanie wanted to know books you recommend for stock market beginners.
Oh, John Bogle wrote a great book. What's it called? Dividend. I think it might be dividend investing or stock investing. Hang on here.
What's his last name?
John Bogle. So John Bogle started Vanguard. So he is the father of the index funds. And I want to say it is one of the best books I've read. And then you'll move on, because Warren Buffett has a lot of great books, but Warren Buffett doesn't do dividends. He's a growth investor and value investor. But John Bogle has a good one. I'm trying to think who else. I tell you what, Melanie, I will send her a couple books for you. I'll go through my list and I'll send you a couple. I'll show you one book.
Warren Buffett has my son and daughter obsessed with trailer parks.
Yes.
I mean, if I have to hear anytime we're on the interstate or whatever, and they'll see some land, do you think we can put a trailer park on that? Shut your face. They're crazy.
Well, let me say this. I've sold a couple trailer parks, and I will tell you, just from being around people who bought, because I sold apartments and I sold a lot of multifamily stuff. So I've sold trailer parks, and the problem with trailer parks is they're very transient.
Yeah.
So your people don't stay there long. So there's a lot of make readies. It's kind of like apartments. We got out of the apartment business. I've got one complex left, one property left, and I'll probably sell it next year, because I probably can triple what I paid for it. But apartments, the problem with apartments is people move all the time. Houses, they will stay. Yeah. I've got a tenant in one of my houses, been there 15 years. So
that's crazy.
So that's the only thing about trailer parks. But I want to share with you, this is my coach. His name is Grant Sabate. And this is another good book, Melanie, for you to look at for stocks. Grant Sabate, y'all are going to love this. Your kids need to read this. He had $2.26 or something like that in his bank account. He's 25 years old, living with his parents, doesn't know what he wants to do, decides he's going to get serious about money and serious about making money. And he gets to, within 5 years, over $1 million in a portfolio. He shares how he did it. He is my coach. He's the most expensive coach I've ever hired, but I'm loving it. He's actually one of my coaches for writing a book. And his book really resonated with me, because if I'd have had this book, I'd be twice from where I'm at now if I had this book. So I just gave you another hack. It's a good one. This is a great book. And he's a great friend. So
So, any
anything else?
any ahas? I mean, hopefully you all were taking notes. I was writing frantically. I tried to put like the mutual funds and the traded funds in the
Oh, you did good. They're good.
we'll see. I think I got everything in there. Some of the books. What else? Anything else, guys? Was this time well spent?
Oh, thank you.
Better hear something. Somebody better shake their hands or unmute or something. Thank you. There we go.
Thank you. Thank you. Very good.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Myra. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. And it's been a pleasure. And seriously, you can email me at MyraOliver@KW or downhomemoney@gmail. I'll respond to you. I'd love to help you. I do wealth coaching for free. It's my way of giving back. If you want to schedule a call with me, I'm here to help, because my goal is that we all take control of our futures, because that's all we got. And then we don't have to depend on anybody else. And we can live that life worth living that we talk about at Keller Williams. So thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Myra. Thank you.
All right,
Love
see
you.
ya. Love you, honey. See ya.
Bye, you all.